allow me to introduce you to my favorite painter, Piet Mondrian. Piet Mondrian was an abstract artist from the country of the Netherlands, which means he was a Dutch painter. His artwork was very, very simple in that he only used straight lines, vertical and horizontal, as well as only the primary colors and black and white. The project that we're going to make today is going to be inspired by his artwork, which means that it's not going to be an exact copy, but it's going to be similar. It's going to be similar, but also have a few differences as well, which I will talk about in just a minute. All right, let's talk about how to make our Mondrian inspired compositions. Now remember, Mondrian was an abstract artist who used a lot of straight lines and only primary colors for his art. Now for this one, we're going to make our artwork inspired by him. So that means that we're not going to make it exactly like a copy of his work. We're going to take parts of his work and apply it to ours, but we're going to make it more creative and make it more unique and individual to our style of creating. The first thing I want to point out is that he used a lot of straight lines. But because not everybody has a ruler, some friends are at home, some friends are in the classroom, and that's fine. If you don't have a ruler to make straight lines, you don't have to use one. If you don't want to use a ruler because you don't want to make straight lines, then you don't have to use one. So for example, I don't think I'm going to use mine today because I want my Mondrian composition to be really creative and unique to me and my style of making art. So I'm going to start with 2 lines that go down across my paper, so vertical lines. They're not going to be straight though, they're going to be, I'm thinking maybe wavy lines. I use a dark marker for this, a black marker, either a permanent marker, Sharpie, or a washable marker. So there's one line, and then my other line is going to be wiggly 2. So 2 lines that go down, vertical lines that go down on your paper. So then I'm going to make 1, 2, 3 more lines going across, going horizontally. But this time I'm going to do 1 is going to be zigzag. 1 is going to be, maybe loops, loop-de-loops. And then this one down here, I think I'm going to do another zigzag. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go back inside some of these bigger spaces and make more lines to kind of break up some of that space. So in here, let's see, in here I'm going to put a diagonal line, straight diagonal line. And down here I'm going to put a straight line. And then maybe over here a straight line, but it's going to be horizontal. I like the way that looks. I don't want to create too many spaces because then it's going to take me forever to finish coloring it. But some of these spaces are big, some of these spaces are small, so I have some variety. So I'm good. I think I'm good with that. I think I'm going to start coloring. Okay, so let's quickly talk about Mondrian's work. So Mondrian rarely had 2 colors that were the same right beside each other. Here he does, and here he does, but those are small and they don't really, you don't really notice them as much. But what I want you to try to do is when you're coloring your project, try to make sure that you don't have 2 colors that are the same that are beside each other or on top of each other. Okay, so try to make sure if you're using the same color, let's say for example, I color this one green, I don't want to color green down here or down here because then that would be too much green on this side. So what I could do instead is maybe do green up here and then go diagonal to the shape that's diagonal and color green here. Okay, so try to make sure when you're using your colors, kind of try to space them out. You really don't want to try to have two colors that are beside each other or on top of each other. You want them to be different if they are beside each other or on top of each other. Okay, the second thing that I want to talk about is your coloring materials. I'm going to use markers for my coloring materials, but you can use crayons, markers, or colored pencils if you want to. Now keep in mind, if you use colored pencils, it may take you a little bit longer to finish this. Markers are probably the fastest, crayons are probably the second fastest, and colored pencils are the ones that are going to take the most time to finish. So keep that in mind when you choose what coloring materials you use. Whatever you have in your kit is what you're going to end up using. The second thing that I want to talk about is color scheme. So I want you to stick to a color scheme. I don't want you to just randomly color all kinds of colors all over the place. Color schemes are color groups that go well together. Piet Mondrian used the primary colors mostly for his color scheme. He also used black and white, but he didn't consider those to be colors. These were the colors that he considered to be colors. So while you could incorporate black and white, I don't want you to use too much black and white so that it takes over the artwork. We want to make our artwork look colorful this time. Okay, so you could use primary colors. Other color schemes could be secondary colors. These are the secondary colors. Secondary colors are colors that are made from mixing primary colors. Let's see, rainbow could be a color scheme. Warm colors, colors of fire, cool colors, colors that make you feel cold. Okay, so think about color schemes that you want to use to color your work.